Hello, friends, and welcome back to Stories About Entitled People. We'll start our video with a story about a manager who decided to let his client walk straight into a financial bear trap. But before we begin, best way to support our channel is to leave comments, like, and subscribe with the turned-on bell so you don't miss the new video every single day. Here we go. All work must be done in office. Okay, hope your wallet's ready. Friend of mine, who we'll call Buddy, said I could share this. Background. Buddy worked for a company that got on the hybrid work-from-home train early. He got his job around 2012. These events take place around 2016. We live in New Jersey, and his office is in New York City. His contract said that he had to be in 1 day a week, same day each week, and up to 5 days a month. So 1 additional day on top of his weekly day. If work brought him in more than that, he got paid his hourly billable rate for his commute and any extra hours. His commute was 1.5 to 2 hours each way, so that could quickly add up to hundreds or thousands of hours. Other than a couple of full-time in-office folks, his coworkers had similar contracts and had to be in 1 to 8 times a month, and some lived as far away as Boston or D.C. They worked in a well-paid niche consulting field, so I guess this was worth it to everyone. On to the story. Buddy's company has a client who's very old school, and their point of contact is a jerk. On a video call, the client notices that some staff do not appear to be in the office, before Blur was as common, and demands that all of the work done for their contract be done in an office. Rants about professionalism. Buddy's manager simply says, "Okay." Manager calls a meeting afterwards with Buddy's team. He knows they're upset, but asks them to prepare to come into the office daily for the next 4 to 6 weeks, tells them to keep very careful track of receipts, costs, time, etc., and asks them to trust him. For the people who live further away, tells them he'll help set up accommodations for them and their families if necessary. Because the company treats people well, everyone goes along with it with minor grumbling. About 5 weeks go by. Everyone's coming in daily. Remember when I said that most people didn't come in? So yeah, not much space in the office. The company liked teleworking because it allowed them to have a New York City headquarters, but not much space. Everyone keeps careful track of commuting costs, etc., time, and is getting reimbursed for their travel time and everything they're owed. This includes some folks who had contracts that covered lodging if they had to come in more than a day or two in a row. Then one day, the manager tells them they can go back to their regular schedule. Everyone notices jerk client's gone, but that the company is still their client. Later on, Buddy finds out what happened. As per the terms of the contract, the client had to pay for all of that overage. Frustrating for the employees, but Buddy said no one was too mad, knowing that it was temporary. Buddy's manager also knew that the same jerk point of contact had been a jerk. He'd apparently gotten tired of being asked to sign contract modifications. Buddy said usually these were set at modifications over 1K or something, but this guy had thought these sign-offs were below him, and so set that threshold much higher, something like 100K. Due to the wording of the contract, this was 100K per change, not total. So, in the 5 weeks that everyone was coming in full-time, he'd managed to cost his company a few $100,000, but since each individual employee was a single change, no one noticed until the next billing cycle. Jerk got called out by his own company, and they tried to contest the payment. Turns out the contract was very clearly written, and the client had to pay. On top of that, this is a pretty niche field, so the client didn't really have many other options if they wanted to change consultants at that point. Jerk point of contact got fired, and according to Buddy's manager, couldn't really find work in their smallish field. Buddy and his coworkers got a nice little chunk of money. This is how you show your employees that you care about them. Rather than accept the terms of a demanding client and shrug it off as a necessary cost of doing business, you ask your team for additional support in exchange for appropriate reimbursement for the hassle while setting the client up to pay for their own arrogance in a way that will inevitably result in everything going back to normal for your team and showing the client why your team prefers to work this way. And our second story. No, I'm not a volunteer. I'm just being nice. This happened about 4 to 5 years ago, but I still remember it like it happened yesterday. I was just walking home from my bus station to our house. You should know that I was able to walk 3 different ways home, one through a creepy side way, one past a playground, and one past a retirement home. That day, I was using the third option to get home. The location looked like this: a long, maybe 100-meter, 300-foot way surrounded by some trees and bushes. At the end of that way started the property of the retirement home. It was one of those days my mom wasn't home until 1 hour after I was back, so I took it easy and walked slowly. I saw that the elders were outside sitting and walking around the property like they do every afternoon between 12 and 3. I had my headphones in and was minding my own business when an elderly woman sitting on a bench reached her hand out for me to get my attention. I stopped, pulled down my headphones. She then asked me really nicely if I could walk her up and down the way for a little bit because she was too weak to do it on her own. Because I had nothing better to do and my mom wasn't waiting for me, I said yes and helped her get up. After she got a good grip on me, so she wouldn't just fall, we started to slowly walk up and down for maybe 2 times, talking about school, friends, and family. I had to repeat some things a few times because she instantly forgot almost everything I said when a woman stopped us. She was maybe 30 and had a big smile on her lips. "Hey, Martha," she said to the old lady, not her real name, and patted her hand. I found out that she was a good friend of Martha's children and was living right beside the retirement home. "Thank you so much for taking care of Martha. You volunteer guys are really nice and helpful. Here, have some money," the woman then said, and wanted to give me 50 effing euros. But I stopped her and explained that I wasn't working there as a volunteer. I was just coming back from school and had some time left, so thought I would do the right thing by helping her, I quickly said. The woman stared at me for a second and then started to laugh. "Oh, I'm sorry, but it's really nice to know, and there are actually still people left in your age who are being nice for free, even though Martha was a total stranger for you." I just smiled, so did Martha the whole time, by the way, and declined the money once again before bringing Martha back to the property and going home, feeling extremely good. I know, nothing wild and no police were called, but I thought I'd share it with you guys anyway. It was extremely nice of you to take the time to spend with an elderly person who probably is often lonely and confused. I hope you continue to such a caring person, because the world needs more people who are nice to those who can do nothing for them. Be safe and make good choices. And our last story. "We didn't think you'd mind," Karen, as she drank my beer in my pool. I pulled into my driveway after a kind of afternoon that just frays your nerves. Hot, humid, grocery bag starting to sweat through the paper. All I wanted was to unload the car, collapse on the couch, and pretend the outside world didn't exist. But of course, the outside world had other plans. Because there she was, Karen, my delightful next-door neighbor, just casually posted up in my backyard. Flip-flop, sunglasses, towel over one arm, sipping something cold like she was poolside at a resort. Only it wasn't a resort, it was my backyard, my pool, and my patience unraveling at lightning speed. She didn't even flinch when I stared, just lifted her drink and gave me that smug little smile that said, "You gonna do something about it?" This wasn't new. It started subtly back in 2020. 1 or 2 kids darting across my yard, a soccer ball mysteriously appearing in my flower beds. Then it escalated. Families treating my backyard like a community park. At one point, someone brought over a damn inflatable unicorn raft. Like, this wasn't a once-off, this was a scheduled event. I tried to be civil. I put up a fence, they climbed it. I installed motion lights, they turned it into a game. I put in cameras and caught everything. I showed the cops. "You should be flattered," one of them said, dead serious. "People love your pool." "Right, like I should bake cookies next time they throw a party in my backyard?" It would have been hilarious if it wasn't so infuriating. I kept escalating calls, reports, emails. The cops were useless. One guy even chuckled and asked if I ever considered making it a community pool. Yes, let me just charge rent next, since apparently I'm running a public facility now. The worst of the worst, though, was Karen. Her kids were the ringleaders. Her lawn chairs mysteriously migrated to my deck. Her dog once pooped near my garden gnome. I've got her on camera entering through my gate with a 6-pack under one arm and a Bluetooth speaker in the other. Every time I confronted her, it was the same sugar-dipped sarcasm. "Oh, we didn't think you'd mind. We figured you were at work. You should really be more neighborly." Neighborly? Lady, I'm about 3 trespasses away from turning this place into Fort Knox. The boiling point came one Thursday afternoon. I'd left work early, and as I pulled up, I heard music. Not faint music, loud music. Britney Spears blasting from somewhere in the back. I stormed through the house, yanked open the back door, and there they were. Karen, 2 other women I didn't recognize, lounging in my chairs, in my pool, drinking my booze. They'd actually gone into my mini fridge on the deck. When I stepped outside, Karen had the gall to say, "Oh, we thought you were out of town again." I didn't answer. I just turned around and went inside, called the cops again. They showed up 10 minutes later and gave me that same, "Why are you wasting our time?" expression. One of them grinned and said, "Guess that's what happens when you've got the best pool on the block." That was it. I wasn't playing anymore. I went full scorched earth. I compiled all the footage, time-stamped, labeled, categorized. I contacted a lawyer, sent cease and desist letters via certified mail to 5 households, filed no trespass orders, marked my property line with official signage, and reg-tagged the gate with a lock. I even hired a private security consultant to advise me on motion sensors and alarms. The guy thought I was overreacting, until I showed him the footage. Once those letters landed, people started freaking out. Karen came to my door trying to play nice, all smiles and nervous laughter. "We didn't mean anything by it." "Sure you didn't." Then her husband showed up. First time I'd ever spoken to the guy, asking if we could clear the air and keep the lawyers out of it. I said, "You've had 4 years to be decent neighbors. You chose this path." Suddenly I'm the villain. Turns out there was a neighborhood Facebook group and I was public enemy number 1. Posts about how I'm antisocial, how I overreacted, how I traumatized Karen's kids by locking the gate. Someone even suggested I should apologize. I left a comment. For what? Enforcing basic property rights? Crickets. I saw someone else post that they might be ganging up to push OP out of the neighborhood, which makes sense why the cops are refusing to do anything about it. It could be a very small and extremely weird community. Hey guys, thank you all for watching the video. I'll see you in the next one.